One of the most prolific actresses in Hollywood has died. People magazine reporting the death of Diane Keaton, whose career spanned some 5 decades and included work as a director and producer as well. She was a favorite of Woody Allen, who cast her in 8 of his films, including Annie Hall in 1977. That role landing her a Best Actress Oscar.
You play very well.
Oh, yeah? So do you. Oh, God, what a dumb thing to say, right? I mean, you say you play well, and then right away I have to say you play well. Oh, God, Annie.
Annie Hall's iconic wardrobe was based on Keaton's own unique look and made her a fashion icon. Although much of her work was in comedies, the actress first rose to big picture fame in The Godfather, portraying the long-suffering wife of mob boss Michael Corleone opposite Al Pacino.
I didn't want your son, Michael. I wouldn't bring another one of your sons into this world.
And Keaton says she didn't even read the book by author Mario Puzo until after her audition and didn't even know what it was about. Keaton got her start in show business on Broadway and landed a Tony nomination in 1969 for Woody Allen's Play It Again, Sam. She went on to star in the movie version as well. Her long list of credits even included a Justin Bieber music video in 2021. Keaton was 79. She's survived by her 2 children. A cause of death not known yet. Well, anyone with flight plans this weekend might run into a few problems because of a coastal storm approaching the area. You might also have some problems if you live in a flood-prone neighborhood. Here live now to tell us more, AccuWeather meteorologist Carrie Schwindenhammer.
Yeah, coastal flooding is going to be one of the most significant risks with this tropical wind and rainstorm coming up the coast. I think the biggest impacts with that system are going to be from later tomorrow right into the day on Monday. Of course, we're dealing with some rain and drizzle right now, and that's going to continue on and off into tonight. But the impacts from the wind and rainstorm will actually increase tomorrow. And that includes increasing winds, also rain that can become heavy at times, leading to possible flooding. And there could be some power outages resulting from wind gusts as high as 50 to 60 miles an hour in parts of eastern Long Island. Beach erosion and coastal flooding, of course, also some wind damage in some areas as well. So really not looking at some nice weather here at all over the weekend and into Monday. Things do improve a little bit by Tuesday. Back to you.
All right, Carrie. Now, the forecast has led to a weather alert from city officials, a storm warning from Governor Hochul, and a state of emergency in New Jersey starting tonight. Residents in Brooklyn's flood-prone neighborhood of Red Hook are fearful for the worst.
All is calm now here by the water, but people who live and work nearby tell me that it could get ugly fast when the rain starts to fall. Jenny Golden says she's already worried.
I'm very concerned that there's going to be flooding and my apartment's going to flood.
Matt Best, who's a chef here at Brooklyn Crab, says when storms hit, the water comes quick and deep.
One day it got real bad. We had a hard time getting to work.
The city's building new defenses to keep Red Hook dry, but it won't help with this storm or any others until the work is done in 2028. Darius Radzi's 1010 wins at 92.3 FM in Red Hook, Brooklyn.
Now, just how bad it might get depends on how exactly the storm tracks. So keep it locked here at 1010 wins at 92.3 FM. And we will, of course, keep you posted with the updated AccuWeather forecast. A Good Samaritan stabbed by a cell phone thief in Midtown overnight. Police say the wounded victim was trying to stop the guy. Police say it was just before 1 a.m. when a woman's phone was snatched away on West 58th Street near 9th Avenue. A 39-year-old man who witnessed the theft then tried to get the phone back, but wound up stabbed in the lower torso. The suspect then fled into the Columbus Circle subway station. They say the victim taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. The woman not injured, but no arrests have been made yet. Well, just weeks ahead of Election Day, a top Democrat has finally endorsed Zohran Mamdani. It's from the party's National Committee Chair, Ken Martin, who says Mamdani is running to make the city more affordable for everyone. Governor Hochul and Kamala Harris have endorsed Mamdani as well, but other top Democrats have been slow to board the Mamdani train. That includes Senate and House Minority Leaders Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Meanwhile, independent candidate Andrew Cuomo interrupted by hecklers.
We have to increase the number of gifted and talented programs in our school system.
Created a fresh gas pipeline
and
talk about how you
we have to.
Now, that happened as Cuomo was announcing plans to add another specialized high school in Queens if he's elected. The former governor blames the interruption on Mamdani, who beat him in the Democratic primary back in June. Attorneys for Luigi Mangione are once again trying to get the death penalty off the table for the accused CEO killer.
Mangione has pleaded not guilty to state and federal charges in the December shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. In papers filed in Manhattan federal court early this morning, his lawyers argue the only federal charge for which he could face the death penalty should be dismissed. They also say his statements to police should be inadmissible at trial because he was not read his rights before he was questioned. And they claim police did not get a warrant to search his backpack, so prosecutors can't mention the gun and ammunition found in it.
Correspondent Michael Wallace, Mangione's lawyers, have also argued that federal charges against him should be dismissed over public comments made by Attorney General Pam Bondi and President Trump as well. 62 degrees, cloudy skies in Midtown. Just ahead here on 1010 Wins, the president announcing another Trump tariff. But first, it's news time for 11. Let's get you where you need to go with Andre Ferro.
Hey, we have trouble on the FDR. If you're traveling northbound right by 58th Street, there's an unauthorized tractor-trailer that got onto the FDR, and that's blocking the left lane. But here's the issue. They're actually holding traffic. There's police activity heading northbound. So right by 47th Street, the police are holding traffic so they can back this truck out of there. Thank you, Alan, for checking in on the 1010 Wins traffic tip line, 844-JAM-1010. So you want to avoid the FDR right now in the northbound direction from at least Houston Street up to the 59th Street Bridge. Go local avenues if you haven't been committed, because once you're in, you're in. It's like a bad marriage. So get off of the FDR and get to the local avenues, or go to the West Side Highway, which is actually moving better. There are delays northbound right around West 125th Street, but again, that's a way better ride than what you're dealing with on the FDR. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound George, about 25. 35 on the outbound side with the cross Bronx delays that go back to White Plains Road. Inbound Lincoln, just about 15. 25 on the outbound side, about the same at the outbound Holland. Inbound's going to cost you because 139 is stacked for Jersey City. Go with the Newark Bay extension. Andre Ferro, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Now a check of the AccuWeather forecast. Here is meteorologist Carrie Schwindenhammer.
We already have coastal flood watches and warnings and high wind watches and warnings in effect for many areas here as we head through the day tomorrow. None of those go into effect quite yet, though. In fact, today it's relatively quiet in terms of the impacts from the tropical wind and rainstorm. We have some rain and drizzle, of course, on occasion, and that will continue into tonight, our low 59 degrees. Tomorrow the winds start to increase and the rain becomes steadier as that system moves up the coast. That is going to be bringing us coastal impacts, especially significant coastal flooding, beach erosion, and wind damage in some areas, especially from late tomorrow into Monday. It's going to be very windy with periods of rain. So could be some localized flooding, wind gusts in the 45-mile-an-hour range for the city, 50 to 60 on parts of eastern Long Island, and that can lead to power outages. The low tomorrow night, 56. High temperature on Monday, about 61. Could still have some rain and drizzle at times, even into Tuesday. 62 and cloudy with spotty rain and drizzle, humidity 86%, and the wind east gusting around 20. 62 going down to 59 in Midtown. I'm Carrie Schwindenhammer on New York's weather station. 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, once again, President Trump is escalating his trade war with China, vowing to impose a 100% tariff on Chinese imports starting next month.
The president accused China of trying to hold the world captive using its rare earth minerals. He added that he could roll back these sanctions if tensions cool. Now, this comes at a time where there is a trade truce between the U.S. and China. Tariffs on Chinese imports are currently at 30%, down from 145% earlier this year.
Now, this latest tariff talk from President Trump triggered big losses yesterday on Wall Street. That was correspondent Alex Prescia. So far, no response from China. And by the way, rare earth minerals are key when it comes to the production of semiconductor chips. From the Nautical Mile at Freeport to the summer homes on Fire Island, we are Long Island's all-news station.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon, 62 degrees at 4:20. I'm Donna Vaughn. And here's what's happening. The entertainment world has lost a legend. Reports that Diane Keaton has died. Weather alerts in effect with a windy, wet nor'easter setting its sights on the tri-state. AccuWeather is standing by with an update on the forecast. President Trump traveling to Israel this weekend and American troops there as well to help coordinate the Gaza ceasefire. A new lawsuit accuses Amazon of faking its recent Prime Day sale, making customers think they were getting big bargains when they weren't. And in 1010 Wins Entertainment, SNL alum Amy Poehler returning to the show that made her famous tonight to handle host duties. The Rangers in Pittsburgh this evening, Islanders hosting the Caps, the Devils at Tampa Bay. AccuWeather says gray skies, some patchy drizzle the rest of the afternoon before we start to feel the effects of that coastal storm tomorrow. Winds News Time 4:21. Let's get you where you need to go now with Andre Farrow.
And we have a big mess on the FDR. If you're traveling northbound, well, they're holding traffic up in the 40s because of a misplaced tractor trailer. He got on there unauthorized, and here we go. We got to back him up out of there. It's over by 57th Street, heading northbound on the FDR is where the truck is located. So you have to back him out, and they're holding traffic. So you have delays that go all the way back, basically now, towards that area of Houston Street on the northbound side of FDR. And you're going to be slow southbound as well. Cars taking a peek at what's going on. So you have delays that go back to the 108th Street area, coming down past the Triborough. So avoid the FDR if you can. West Side Highway or local avenues would do you better. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound George Washington Bridge, 30 minutes. 35 on the outbound side. Cross Bronx delays that go back to the Bronx River Parkway. East and West Bruckner slow by the Hunts Point Drawbridge. Inbound Lincoln, you're looking at 35 minutes. About the same of the inbound Holland. Outbound Holland will run you 25. About 25 of the outbound Lincoln as well. Getting into the tubes is the issue off of the local avenues. And you have delays on Staten Island, westbound Staten Island Expressway from Highland to Victory. Belt Parkway delays in Brooklyn, east and west between the Verrazano and Flatbush Avenue. Looks like we have a westbound stall right now over by Knapp Street. That's what's causing that action on the Belt Parkway. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, she made so many memorable movies we couldn't even begin to list them, but we'll try. People magazine reporting the death of actress Diane Keaton, who won an Oscar for playing the title role in Annie Hall in 1977.
You don't want me to live with you.
I don't want you to live with me. Whose idea was it?
Mine.
Keaton was a California native who dropped out of college to pursue an acting career in New York, and it paid off with a 1969 Tony nomination for Woody Allen's Play It Again, Sam. She starred in the film version as well, one of 8 movie collabs for her and Allen. Her role as the wife of a mob boss in The Godfather, though, put her among Hollywood's elite leading ladies, and one of her many later hits was First Wives Club.
You both have severe psychological problems, and I'm the nice one here. I'm not like this.
She co-starred with Goldie Hawn and Bette Midler there. Her enormous body of work included Looking for Mr. Goodbar, Reds, Baby Boom, Father of the Bride, loved that one, Something's Gotta Give. Such a long list. She was a producer and director as well as appearing on screen. Keaton was 79, no word yet on a cause of death. Well, a coastal storm is set to rain down on our fall weekend plans. AccuWeather meteorologist Carrie Schwindenhammer brings us up to date on the forecast.
Our tropical wind and rain storm will begin to impact the area more so tomorrow and right into Monday. Today we're still already seeing some light rain and drizzle from time to time, but the weather will go downhill further as we head through the day tomorrow, starting with that wind increasing, some steadier rain moving on in. And when all is said and done, our biggest impacts are going to be the threat for significant coastal flooding, beach erosion, and wind damage in some areas from late tomorrow right into the day on Monday. The storm lingers on Tuesday, at least for a little while, in the form of rain and drizzle, a breeze as well. But hopefully later in the day, we'll start to see improvement.
Now, Carrie, millions of people along a huge chunk of the East Coast could be affected by this storm, not only the tri-state.
Heavy rain, strong winds, and coastal flooding are expected from the Carolinas to New England. On the Jersey Shore, Monmouth County Sheriff Sean Golden is handing out sandbags and urging people to take down their Halloween decorations.
You might want to take them inside just Sunday and Monday until we have this force of wind that blows by at 40 to 50 mile an hour wind.
In Situate, Massachusetts, lobsterman Jamie Davenport is pulling all his traps out of the water and securing his boat.
If it lasts for more than 24 hours, like it looks like it's going to, then it could be pretty bad.
Correspondent Michael Wallace. City officials say that shoreline communities in Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and the eastern shore of Staten Island are especially at risk of high water. This all depends, of course, on how the storm tracks, so keep it locked here at 1010 Winds at 92.3 FM for the latest from AccuWeather. 62 degrees, heading down to 59 tonight in Midtown. Now Bloomberg Money Watch.
It may seem like there's a coffee place on every corner, but coffee researcher Jeffrey Young says there's room for more.
Surprisingly, despite difficult economy, difficult headwinds, it is a market that's growing.
Young is the founder of the Allegra World Coffee Portal.
We think that, we're still far from being saturated.
Despite Starbucks saying it will close some stores, Young's group says most of the 20 largest U.S. chains launched new stores over the last 12 months, including Starbucks, Dunkin', Dutch Brothers, and Seven Brew. Drive-thrus are fueling the expansion, but shops are also brewing up new concoctions, offering more add-ins and attracting younger customers with iced coffees and cold brew.
The one category that has been seen strong growth over the last 5 years and will continue to see further growth with a Gen Z audience, coming into this market is the cold coffee category.
Allegra counted more than 45,000 U.S. coffee shops last year, and despite slowing growth, it sees almost 58,000 in 5 years. I'm Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
1010 Wins. Always clear and accurate.
People I trust.
Having a trusted news source is something that you can rely on.
Where I get my news.
1010 Wins.
On 92.3 FM.
Wins News Time, 4:30.
Good afternoon. I'm Ashok Bala. The ceasefire in Gaza is holding ahead of President Trump's visit to the region Monday.
Drone footage from the Associated Press in Gaza City shows block after block of decimated concrete apartment buildings and roads choked with dust. With a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in its second day, humanitarian groups are urging Israel to reopen border crossings to allow aid to flow.
The ceasefire alone is not enough.
In the Gaza Strip, Tess Ingram is a spokesperson for UNICEF.
It also needs to ensure a surge of humanitarian aid that begins to address the tremendous damage.
About 200 American troops are in Israel to help monitor the ceasefire, facilitate aid, and retrieve hostages. The government believes around 20 are still alive. Regarding the next stage of the ceasefire, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Friday Israel could resume its offensive if Hamas fails to disarm. I'm Jennifer King.
Tens of thousands of displaced Palestinians have been returning to their homes as Israelis cheered the expected release of the hostages on Monday. Wins News Time, 4:31. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Andre Farrow.
Now we have a trouble spot on Long Island. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. It's a crash by Searingtown Road on the westbound LIE, and that's why you're tapping the brakes there. The westbound Northern State Parkway is slow, heading towards New Hyde Park Road, passing the North Shore Towers, and the westbound Southern Route follows suit with delays west of the Meadowbrook and heading towards Peninsula Boulevard. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound George Washington Bridge, a solid 30 minutes. 35 minutes on the outbound side with cross Bronx delays, and you do have the inbound Lincoln and Holland at least 25. Outbound around the same. The FDR is super slow. Northbound, try to move unauthorized tractor trailer that got onto the FDR, so they've been intermittently holding traffic on the northbound side of the FDR with delays that go all the way back to the Williamsburg Bridge. The unauthorized truck is right in the 50s and 57th Street area. So that's causing some southbound delays as well. The FDR, you just want to avoid it at all costs if you can. You're going to be very slow northbound and southbound. As I mentioned, go local avenues or go with the West Side Highway, which is moving way better. We have some trouble in Brooklyn. Looks like a westbound stall right around that area of Knapp Street, so the belt is tightening passing Flatbush Avenue. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Checking the AccuWeather forecast now with meteorologist Carrie Schwindenhammer.
Well, it looks like a little bit of a dreary day. We'll probably have a little more light rain and drizzle from time to time into the rest of the evening and even during the overnight hours as well. Our low 59 tonight. Increasingly windy tomorrow as a tropical wind and rainstorm works its way up the coast. We'll have rain that'll become steadier in intensity from time to time as well. The high about 62 degrees. Now, the storm's probably going to be more remembered for the coastal flooding, significant coastal flooding, in fact, beach erosion, and even the possibility of some wind damage. But we're also going to have some rain that could lead to localized flooding, strong winds gusting around 50 to 60 miles an hour on eastern Long Island, 45, maybe 50 in the city, and that can lead to power outages. Low tomorrow night, 56, the high on Monday about 61. Still a little leftover rain and drizzle on Tuesday, but we should start to see some improvements as we head through the afternoon. 62 and cloudy with spotty drizzle, humidity 86%, the wind out of the east, gusting at 20 miles an hour. 62 going down to 59 in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather's Carrie Schwindenhammer on New York's weather station, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Amazon's being accused of offering fake discounts during its summer Prime Day sale. A proposed class action lawsuit claims the company inflated listing prices to make customers think they were getting better deals. One example claims Amazon listed a kid's Android tablet on sale from its list price of $119, but the same tablet had been selling in the $50 to $85 range in the months before. No comment from Amazon on the suit. Last month, the behemoth agreed to pay $2.5 billion, a settlement over claims it misled customers into signing up for Prime while making it difficult to cancel. A TV news producer with WGN Chicago has been detained by ICE. Bystanders filmed her arrest, which happened yesterday morning during a clash in the Lincoln Square neighborhood.
What's your name? What's your name?
Debbie Brockman, I work for WGN. Let them know.
I got you. Yep. Debbie Browning? Brockman. Sir, what's your name? In the back, what's your name? Say that one more time. What's your name? Que nombre?
Another video shows her getting shoved into a van before it drove off. Homeland Security officials say Brockman was arrested for throwing objects at a Border Patrol car. She was released hours later without being charged. In Portland, a U.S. citizen was detained by ICE agents for several hours. Frank Miranda, who was born in California, says multiple agents wearing masks came to his job earlier this month claiming he had overstayed his visa. He was taken into custody and released with no charges, no comment from ICE officials. The Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Machado.
Machado is known as Venezuela's Iron Lady. For over 2 decades, she has led a massive political movement challenging the country's authoritarian leaders. First, President Hugo Chavez, and now his successor, President Nicolás Maduro. Maduro has repeatedly threatened to arrest her.
How does this prize change your destiny, your fate, your security?
I think it does give me a lot of protection. The most important thing is that it highlights worldwide the importance of the struggle of the Venezuelan people.
Correspondent Lilia Luciano. President Trump says he spoke with Machado last night, saying they had a very nice call. There had been calls from other world leaders to give the award to Mr. Trump over his recent ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Amy Poehler's hosting SNL. 1010 Wins Entertainment next. All news 92.3 FM, powered by 1010 Wins.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Cloudy, 62 degrees. It's 4:40. Good afternoon. I'm a show. Kabbalah. Here's what's happening. Legendary actress Diane Keaton has died at 79. A nor'easter is coming. Coastal flood and high wind warnings. The latest from AccuWeather's coming up. A big endorsement for the Democratic candidate for mayor.
I was shocked. I wanted to know what happened.
A vigil in Flatbush for the man shot and killed by cops last weekend. Thousands of federal workers could lose their jobs with the government shutdown dragging on. On the ice tonight, Devils Lightning. The Islanders will take on the Capitals, and the Rangers will skate with the Penguins. We'll check in with AccuWeather in a moment. Wins News Time, 4:41. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Andre Farrow.
And let's check in on Long Island. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. The westbound LIE are slow by Glen Cove Road. Looks like the crash by Searingtown Road has been pushed to the shoulder. The westbound Northern tapping the brakes over by New Hyde Park Road, heading towards the North Shore Towers. And the westbound Southern, you're dealing with some volume, right by the Meadowbrook and heading towards Peninsula Boulevard. The FDR delays in Manhattan continue. Northbound, they were holding traffic heading up towards the 57th Street area. Why? Well, an unauthorized tractor-trailer got onto the FDR. That's why. And you have delays that go all the way back to 23rd Street. I would still go with the local avenues if you can, or use the West Side Highway. That's the golden ticket. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. 30 minutes in at the George Washington Bridge, 35 on the outbound side. Inbound Lincoln and Holland. Let's go Lincoln first. That's more of a 40-minute deal. The inbound Holland's going to cost you around 25. Outbound Holland, outbound Lincoln is about the same. You're looking at a solid 30 minutes. Westbound delays in Brooklyn across the Kosciuszko and heading towards the Brooklyn Bridge, passing Flushing Avenue and the Brooklyn Bridge. Brooklyn bound, noticing a lot of action there as well. The westbound side of the belt, passing Flatbush Avenue. You have volume in Staten Island. Well, the Goethals Bridge, heading towards Staten Island. The eastbound Staten Island Expressway slow by Victory Boulevard. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
We'll get you the latest on the impending nor'easter, but first, People reports legendary actress Diane Keaton has died at 79.
What do you want from me after all this time where I've been calling and writing?
I came here because I need you, because I care for you.
Please stop it, Michael.
Because I want you to marry me.
It's It's too late. It's too late.
Keaton rose to fame in the Godfather movies.
I can't decide if you hate me or if you're like the only person who ever really got me.
I don't hate you.
Keaton with Jack Nicholson there. Something's Gotta Give. She won an Oscar for 1977's Annie Hall. Her iconic career included The First Wives Club and Father of the Bride. Known for her collaborations with Woody Allen and director Nancy Meyers, she left a lasting impact on Hollywood, both as an actress and style icon. Diane Keaton is survived by her two kids, Dexter and Duke. So a nor'easter is heading our way. Tomorrow's Staten Island Half Marathon already canceled ahead of rain and wind that could bring a storm surge of 1 to 3 feet of water to our area. Let's get the latest from AccuWeather meteorologist Kerry Schwindenhammer.
We have a slew of coastal flood watches and warnings in effect, and there's also a high wind watch in effect from tomorrow afternoon through Monday morning from Brooklyn and Queens eastward across Long Island and southward through much of coastal New Jersey. Light rain and drizzle for this afternoon and tonight, but the wind picks up and so does the rain tomorrow. In fact, there will be coastal flooding and beach erosion issues not only late tomorrow, but right into Monday, along with rain and wind as well. Wind damage could occur in some locations, and the storm will linger for a while, so even into Tuesday, we could have some rain for a time before things start to improve later in the day.
New Jersey has already declared a state of emergency ahead of the storm. Coastal flood watches and warnings in place from Sunday into at least Monday, as well as a high wind watch. To Brooklyn, where people in Red Hook say they're hoping to avoid the flooding they've lived through before.
The water isn't rising here just yet, but the fear is, especially among homeowners like DeVere.
We've been here in Sandy, and it was really, really bad. It was, like I never seen like that.
Business owner Kieran Breen says he hasn't seen major flooding here since opening 5 years ago, but knows it's only a matter of time.
I mean, eventually we're probably going to get another big storm like that.
But he hopes the water here will rise up for the next few years until the city's done installing flood barriers and drainage systems. Darius Radzius, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM, Red Hook, Brooklyn.
62 degrees going down to 59 in Midtown. Now a WFAN Sports Flash.
Well, the Jets haven't been able to find a win stateside, so why not take a shot at finding one in London? Defensive star Quinnen Williams says the Jets need to figure things out.
But we was in Florham Park right now. It'll be the same conversations, the same attitude, the same solution-based things when it comes down to fixing and applying the solutions to Sundays. So it's one of those things like when you're 0-5, no matter where you are, you got to fix things.
The Jets taking on the Broncos tomorrow morning. That'll be a 9:30 a.m. kickoff. The Giants already played their Week 6 game, taking care of the Eagles at MetLife 34-17 to improve to 2-4. Lots of local action on the ice tonight. The 1-1 Rangers are visiting the 2-0 Penguins. The Devils are looking for their first win on the season in Tampa, and the 0-1 Islanders are hosting the Capitals. All three of those games start at 7 o'clock. Baseball, the ALCS is set with the Blue Jays taking on the Mariners in Game 1 tomorrow. In the NLCS, the Dodgers will face the winner of tonight's clash between the Cubs and Brewers in Milwaukee. As for college football, number 3 Oregon is tied with 7th-ranked Indiana at 10 points apiece midway through the second quarter. Top-ranked Ohio State won at Illinois 34-16. Alabama escaping with a win at Missouri 27-24. The WFAN Sports Desk, I'm Pete McCarthy.
Zoran Mamdani's picked up a key endorsement in the mayoral race. The chair of the DNC, Ken Martin, giving his approval to the Democratic nominee. He says Mamdani is running to make the city more affordable for everyone. Also says he's captured the nation's attention with this campaign. Other top Democrats, including Senator Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, have so far declined to endorse Mamdani. Independent candidate Andrew Cuomo today announced a plan to build a new specialized high school in Queens. He says the borough is only one. The High School for the Sciences can only accept 130 students a year. Republican Curtis Sliwa marched in Bensonhurst's Columbus Day Parade. He's opening a new campaign office in Bay Ridge. Early voting starts on the 25th. A vigil this afternoon in Flatbush for the man shot and killed by police last weekend. Royston Backus Jr., 28, killed after police responded to a domestic violence call. When cops got there, he fled with a gun in his hand. City Council member Chris Banks tells 1010 Wins he hopes police body cam will shed some light on what happened.
We believe that part of the process of bringing the community together and giving some degree of clarity is healing and also making it clear that we want clarity as to what took place, and we want the footage released as soon as possible.
Investigators say a woman had called 911 to report Bacchus was harassing her at her apartment door. She also mentioned she'd been trying to get a restraining order against him. Cops say Bacchus refused several orders to drop his gun. He was killed after an officer fired a single shot, striking him in the chest. President Trump is promising to pay members of the military during the government shutdown. On social media, he says the Pentagon will use, quote, all available funds to get them paid by next week. This comes as thousands of federal workers may soon lose their jobs with the shutdown dragging on.
The full scope of the layoffs is unclear, but the White House Budget Office in a court filing Friday night saying more than 4,000 federal workers will be fired. The biggest cuts coming at the Departments of the Treasury and Health and Human Services, according to the filing. Layoffs also happening at Commerce, Education, Energy, HUD, and Homeland Security.
Correspondent Karen Travers. And when it comes to air travel, the FAA reported 12 airports with air traffic control staffing shortages yesterday, including Newark. Airports are expected to be busy this weekend, with Monday being Columbus Day. Vintage baseball is captivating the attention of a lot of people. We'll tell you about that. But first, Twins News Time 4:51. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Andre Farrow.
I would still avoid the FDR in the northbound direction. They've been intermittently holding traffic with the misplaced and unauthorized truck that got onto the FDR in the northbound direction in the 50s. So avoid the FDR if you can, northbound. And even southbound coming down from the Triborough has been a tough task as well. I mean, you could use it, but it's going to cost you some extra time for sure, heading down towards 72nd Street as you pass the Triborough Bridge. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Let's go back to the Triborough, which is slow across the Manhattan span of Randall's Island, heading towards the Harlem River Drive because of the Harlem River Drive delays in that area. Inbound George Washington Bridge, 35 minutes, about 30 on the outbound side as well. Looks like we have a stall on the eastbound Cross Bronx right by White Plains Road. Traveling on the southbound Sawmill, passing McLean Avenue, you have delays that go all the way back to the Cross County Parkway. It looks like we have some activity on the southbound Sprain, approaching 11E and 11W, the ramps to the Cross County Parkway. Inbound Lincoln and Holland, well over 35 minutes at the inbound Lincoln. Holland's more of a 20-minute deal, and both outbound you're going to need around 20 minutes. But go with the West Side Highway in and out of Manhattan. You'll do a lot better there. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Checking the AccuWeather forecast now with meteorologist Carrie Schwindenhammer.
Well, we're going to be dealing with some rain and drizzle at times here into the evening hours. Spotty drizzle and even a couple of showers for the overnight. Kind of dreary with a low of 59, but things really start going downhill tomorrow, especially later in the day as our tropical wind and rainstorm rides up the coast. Periods of rain and increasingly windy tomorrow with a high of 62. Of course, that storm can bring coastal flooding that can be significant. Beach erosion and wind damage in some areas from late tomorrow into Monday. It's going to remain very windy with periods of rain. Some of the rain heavy enough to lead to flooding and wind gusts of 45 miles an hour in the city, between 50 and 60 on eastern Long Island. And there could be power outages as well. Low tomorrow night 56. The high on Monday only 61. Remaining breezy as we head into Tuesday. Still some leftover rain and drizzle, but things could start improving as we head through the afternoon. Right now 62 and cloudy. Spotty drizzle out there. Humidity 86%. The wind out of the northeast gusting to 20. 62 going down to 59 in Midtown. I'm Carrie Schwindenhammer on New York's weather station. 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
An old-timey baseball game in Queens today. The Bayside Historical Society recreated a game from the 1860s. Uniforms, rules, equipment, even slang. Brita QB is with Bayside's Historical Society. She tells 1010 Wins why this is so popular.
Most of the people that come to this, they're half history buff and half baseball fan. So I think they love the idea of how the game progressed through the years.
And they played on the Fort Totten soccer fields in Bayside. Superheroes can do all kinds of stuff, including wash windows.
This week, window washers from Sky Clean in Baltimore shed their regular gear and put on the costumes of Spider-Man.
I'm Spider-Man.
Superman.
Up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman.
And Batman.
You are?
Yeah. I'm Batman. Along with the Hulk, the Flash, and Iron Man as they descended from the roof and interacted with children at Johns Hopkins Children's Center.
Christopher Cruz performing. The Seattle Mariners are going to the ALCS after a marathon game last night. Seattle beat the Detroit Tigers in a 15-inning, 4-hour, 58-minute long game. making MLB history as being the longest winner-take-all playoff game. It ended with a Jorge Polanco bases-loaded single. The Mariners will now take on the Blue Jays tomorrow night in Toronto. It is 62. Cloudy skies. We're going down to 59 in Midtown. Now, Bloomberg Money Watch.
For decades, when city slickers headed out to the suburbs,
get yourself ready for a trip through McDonald's land.
They saw the landscape dotted with fast food, especially Mickey D's. But this decade, something's been amiss.
The pandemic happened and people started to move more to exurbs.
Bloomberg restaurant industry reporter Christina Peterson.
People moved out to be around farmland, to be in more wide open spaces, to not have as much traffic.
That means a lot of people moving out of McDonald's reach. It's a migration that caught the chain flat-footed.
In this instance, they're playing a little bit of catch-up.
Catch-up. Clever. Mickey D's has launched a push to expand by 10,000 locations globally in 4 years with a specifically focused goal for the U.S.
To be within a